Hey all, it's Dave from Tanked Up Life with an update on my 10-gallon angle view aquarium from PetSmart. Before we begin, a lot has changed on this tank, but before we begin, I see that my panda loach is out down here. I love this guy. Very rare. They come from one stream in China. I don't know if these are wild caught or tank raised. Nobody seems to know. Unfortunately, I had two. One of them died. We'll get to that in a moment. So what happened to this tank? A lot has unfortunately gone wrong. Now everything is back to normal. I had a major blackbeard algae breakout covering the leaves. In order to combat that, I got rid of the Finex light that I had put on this tank and replaced it with the stock light, only because the stock light actually gives off a lot less light. And I was trying to minimize light due to the algae. I also had the light on only 4 hours a day. I initially tried hydrogen peroxide treatment, which I've never done before. Put it in a spray bottle, lowered the water level very low, so the plants were exposed, and proceeded to spray the plants down. And I, at least from what I saw online on other YouTubers, that it should not affect the fish and that it dissipates very quickly with light. Well, unfortunately, the other panda loach that I had basically died almost instantly. I don't know why. All the other fish were not affected. I did refill the tank, and then just to be careful, I emptied it and refilled it again. But anyway, that was the one casualty I had. That got rid of about 80% of the blackbeard algae, but not all of it. And then what I did was I used the Seachem Flourish Excel treatment, which I'd never done before. Now, Flourish Excel claims to make bioavailable carbon for the planted tank. My understanding is really all that it is an algicide. So basically, you spot treat. I had a plastic, here we go, plastic applicator. You fill it up to the dosage that you're gonna, put the Flourish Excel in. Put it in the water and squirt it around the leaves that are infected with blackbeard algae, and lo and behold, it completely wiped out the blackbeard algae. So anyway, that worked really, really well. And actually, all Seachem Flourish Excel really is, my understanding, is it's an algicide. That's really all it is. So now I'm using it regularly in all my tanks because it just seems to have squashed any chance of blackbeard algae from growing. The lights on this tank are back to being on 8 hours a day. Again, this is not as bright a light as a Finex light, but it's a nice light, and that's what came with the aquarium. I also do have a couple new fish. I honestly just picked these up, and I don't know what they're called. These little, they're kind of like blue-eyed, rainbow-looking tetras. Sorry, I keep getting interrupted. My phone keeps ringing. Anyway, I think they were sold as like blue tetras. I don't know. That's not correct. They were the last four in the in my local fish store. I really love these guys. I want to pick them up. They're just very different looking from any other tetra I've ever seen. These bright blue eyes, and they kind of have like an albino body with some pink and just some blotchy colors to them. Just very unique fish. Anyway, I have four of those in there. This tank is pretty much fairly well stocked. I would probably pick up another couple of those if I see them again. Also, the red tiger lotus, that is a new plant, was not in there. And look at the growth on this thing. It's just like insane. If anybody ever, you never had a red tiger lotus, these plants are unbelievable. Shrimp love them. Shrimp sit on top of the leaves. They're fairly indestructible. When the leaves get too big, you just basically cut off a stem, and that kind of makes the plant get fuller and fuller. That, unfortunately, though, blocked out the light for this plant, that there's only one left with the flowering bud on top. So I transplanted the last one there. It just kind of got wiped out. I guess it's just a high light plant. And then I stuck this fern here, which is clippings from my large tank, just to kind of see how it does. Some plants don't like different aquarium setups. So I just kind of put that there. It's actually growing pretty good. It's a very, very hardy plant. I kind of like the wild look. Me personally, I like a lot of plant life. To me, it just keeps the water, plants are just the ultimate filtration system. They keep the water crystal clear. They suck up all the extra nutrients, which stops, algae blooms. You see my glass is pretty clean. There's very little algae on the glass. I'm sure there is on the back of the tank, because harder for me to get to. But it's very rare that I even have to use like the algae magnet to clean the glass on this tank. So anyway, now this tank is basically running really good. Everything is in balance. The fish are healthy. The other one issue that I had, and I don't know if you can see him, my electric blue ram, who's hiding out all the way in the back. I don't know if I can get a view of him here. There he is. So I can get him in focus. So he came down with some kind of, I don't know, crazy tumors or parasite. The fish store was at a loss for what was wrong with him. I treated the tank with this broad spectrum treatment for 7 days. It calls for 5. Had absolutely no effect. The good thing is that it didn't harm any of the fish or any of the plants. Did not discolor the water, but it seemed to have no effect on whatever is wrong with that electric blue ram. I then did a salt dip. Basically put him in a very high concentration of salt water until he's almost laying on his side, hoping that if it was a fungus or a parasite that would kill it. He's still alive. That was 2 days ago, so I guess we'll see. I don't know if he's going to recover. I also have 3 Amano shrimp in here. They're very small. I don't know where they are. And I put 2 red cherry shrimp in here also, just to see how they're doing, because I do have a shipment of, I think it's 12 orange pumpkin shrimp coming in the mail shortly. And I just wanted to make sure that, the Amano shrimp I'm sure are going to survive. Cherry shrimp are a little more finicky, just to make sure that they survive before I add shrimp to this tank. But anyway, that's the update. So things were going really bad, but now if you look and see, things are actually running really good. You see there's like no algae anymore on the leaves. I do have pest snails, which kind of drive me absolutely insane. There's one on the glass right there. I pick them out when I can. It's not the end of the world. That's part of the tank's ecosystem. Snails actually do good. I don't have like a mystery snail in here anymore. I put them in my big tank because I accidentally broke the lid on this tank. And like others had reported, there is no way to get a replacement lid. Of course, the tank is a hair shorter than a 20 high, so you can't use a 20 high lid. So I just basically went to a glass guy. He cut a piece of glass for me. I used the existing clips. So this side is open by the filter. The stock lid, if you remember, had a little cutout right here for the filter. But you know what? I don't mind it because I feed the fish over here. And, I kind of debating, do I want a glass top or not? And I know all these YouTube aquascapers, none of them have lids on their tanks. But, quite honestly, if you don't have your lid on your tank, besides the water evaporation, you could have jumpers. And it also, humidifies your room, your house. So, this way I kind of have the best of both worlds. A little bit of it is open. One side is closed. Nobody jumps out. The fish are secure. I do have a fairly dense, let's just say a roof of plants on the tank between the red root floaters. Oh, there's one of the cherry shrimp that I just put in there. He's hanging out up top on the plant. So between the red root floaters, the tiger lotus, I think this is, I forgot what this is called. It's like a water wisteria or something like that. That will minimize anybody jumping out. I do have 3 coolie loaches in here that I was concerned if they were going to jump. They're usually hang out by the heater. Let's see. Well, of course, there's none hanging out there right now. That's where. Oh, here's our panda loach again. Anyway, that's usually where they hang out. But none of them have jumped out of the tank either. So anyway, that's my update. Please give me a like and subscribe. I will try to do more updates on this tank. Unfortunately, because of the challenges of the blackbeard algae and whatnot, I, didn't really want to do a video when things were all kind of falling apart. But one thing that, I've learned with aquariums is sometimes you kind of just have to give it time. So now everything in this tank is fully in balance. The amount of food that the fish are getting. I really don't use liquid fertilizer. I was using Easy Green by Aquarium Co-op. I got to be honest. I love Aquarium Co-op. I love Corey over there. I did not have the blackbeard algae problems until I started using their liquid fertilizer, and that's the same for my big tank. And the reason why I switched to them was because supposedly Easy Green has micronutrients. I always used API Leaf Zone, which does not. It really just has a couple, like it has iron and potash. And I've actually gone back to only using API Leaf Zone. I found that I can dump API Leaf Zone into at least my main tank like crazy, and the plants just grow like crazy, and it does not cause algae blooms. This tank, I'm very hesitant to add any fertilizer, but you can tell, look, there's no CO2, no fertilizer. I do have planted tank substrate under the sand, to feed the plants, but I mean, the plants are growing like crazy. So, you don't need CO2 to have incredible plant growth. That's for sure. One thing that I definitely have learned was plants will grow in the right conditions, regardless. Anyway, that's my update. Please give me a like, and I will try to put out some more updates on this tank a little faster than I have been, being that I had all those problems. Thanks all.